impact on the United States itself. That impact on the United States will continue to grow. The impact of weakening U.S. economy has an impact on everyone else. But of course it has a direct impact as well on the affected countries. It's not welcome.
Imagine waking up to a crisis that could change the entire auto industry overnight. Factories on the verge of shutdown, electric vehicle production in shambles, car prices about to skyrocket beyond control. And the cause of it all? A shocking move by Canada that no one saw coming.
We can diversify our trading relationships, we can build new trading corridors, and we can fully realize what Canada is, which is an energy superpower in both clean and conventional energy, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to get stronger, while those who take trade actions get weaker.
For decades, the United States and Canada have worked in perfect sync, fueling the backbone of American automaking. But now, a sudden trade war is tearing that partnership apart, threatening jobs, supply chains, and even the future of electric vehicles. So what exactly happened? Why did Canada make this move? And most importantly, how will this affect you as a car buyer? Stay with me, because this isn't just a policy dispute. It's a crisis that could change how cars are made, sold, and priced in North America forever. The unexpected trade war, how it all began. Most people assume that trade wars come from faraway places, from conflicts with China, Europe, or South America. But what if the biggest economic threat is right next door? For years, the US and Canada shared an unbreakable trade bond. Automakers flourished under a stable cross-border supply chain, generating prosperity and jobs for both nations. Then, one policy shift changed everything overnight. What started as a minor dispute spiraled into an economic showdown that no one saw coming. And it all began with one decision by the United States. The U.S. tariffs that sparked retaliation. The United States introduced a new tariff policy, claiming it would protect domestic industries and secure American jobs. But instead of securing stability, this move triggered a calculated response from Canada, one that was anything but random.
We don't need another country to validate our sovereignty. We are sovereign. We don't need praise from another country. We are proud in and of ourselves.
Rather than implementing broad retaliation, Canada struck with precision. They targeted the exact sectors that would hurt the U.S. economy the most, and at the heart of their strategy, the auto industry. Canada's precision strike, why it's so effective. Canada's retaliation wasn't a blanket tariff, it was surgical. Instead of banning all imports, Canadian officials zeroed in on the most critical industries, those that would cause the most disruption to the American economy. And the number one target? Steel, aluminum, and automotive components. The result? American factories suddenly couldn't keep pace. Automakers now faced a painful dilemma: absorb the costs and take massive financial losses. Pass them on to consumers, sending new vehicle prices skyrocketing, and the political impact? By targeting key manufacturing regions, Midwestern and Southern states, Canada knew exactly where the pressure would hurt the most.
It's Canada strong. We can stand up for ourselves. We've called out those comments. They're disrespectful. They're not helpful. And they need to stop before, and they will have to stop before we sit down and have a conversation about our broader partnership with the United States.
With thousands of jobs on the line, politicians in Washington, D.C. now face mounting pressure to negotiate.
We don't need their energy. We have more than they do. We don't need anything. We don't need the cars. I'd much rather make the cars here. There's not a thing that we need. Now, there'll be a little disruption, but they need us. We really don't need them.
But the biggest casualty of this economic war? Tesla, and here's why. Tesla's nightmare. How this crisis could collapse the EV industry. Tesla's greatest strength, its fast-moving, highly efficient supply chain, has now become its greatest weakness. The company relies heavily on Canadian raw materials like nickel, lithium, and aluminum, the lifeblood of EV battery production. But with sudden tariffs and export restrictions, Tesla can't operate at full scale. Manufacturing lines slow down, production costs skyrocket, investors panic. the entire electric vehicle industry is now in a downward spiral. Even legacy automakers like Ford and General Motors, who have more diversified supply chains, are feeling the heat. The result? Massive delays, price increases, and declining consumer trust. This crisis comes at the worst possible time, just as EVs were about to dominate the market. But it's not just electric vehicles that are in trouble. This is about to hit the entire auto industry. The auto industry's breaking point, factories on the brink. Most people don't realize just how intertwined American and Canadian auto production is. A single car's components can cross the border multiple times before it's fully assembled. Now, that entire system is breaking down. With every new tariff, suppliers pay more for raw materials. Factories must cut workforce hours or raise sticker prices, leaving consumers stunned by how expensive new cars have become. For communities dependent on auto manufacturing, even a small disruption means lost jobs, lower wages, and economic hardship. And this trade war is about to make everything worse. How this trade war is killing American jobs. Ironically, the tariffs meant to protect American workers are now causing job losses. Every time a new tax is added to Canadian metals, auto parts, or raw materials, the cost of American production skyrockets. Factories that plan to expand are scaling back. Managers who hope to hire are cutting jobs. The ripple effect spreads beyond the auto industry. Truck companies lose revenue, with fewer parts to transport. Auto suppliers cut jobs as orders decline. Local businesses suffer as factory workers lose income. In cities that once thrived on manufacturing, workers fear for their future. And there's only one thing that could make this even worse: higher gas prices. And guess what? Canada still holds that trump card. Canada's last resort? Could energy be next? Imagine this: overnight, gasoline prices double. If Canada restricts or heavily taxes oil exports to the US, it could send shockwaves through the economy far beyond the auto industry. Truck fleets could collapse as fuel costs spiral out of control. Food prices could rise as supply chains weaken. Energy bills could soar as US regions dependent on Canadian hydroelectricity scramble for alternatives. The consequences would go beyond cars. Every household in America would feel the impact. And the real danger? If the US and Canada don't resolve this standoff, the global economy could shift in a way that forever changes the balance of power. And one superpower is already making its move. China's strategic play. Is America losing its auto industry? While the US and Canada are locked in economic battle, China is seizing the opportunity, securing Canadian suppliers of lithium, nickel, and rare earth metals, forging trade deals to dominate EV battery production, weakening the United States' hold on the future of electric vehicles. If China succeeds, American automakers may be permanently locked out of the next generation of transportation. And with global competition heating up, any supply chain disruption could tilt the scales in China's favor, potentially costing the US its auto industry. This isn't just a trade war, it's a global power struggle. And the biggest question now: can North America recover before it's too late? Or is this the beginning of the end for the American auto industry? Let's discuss. What do you think? Is Canada's retaliation justified? Or is America sabotaging itself with these tariffs? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to stay ahead of the biggest auto news, make sure to subscribe, because this story is far from over.